Dillian Whyte apparently has options. He has several different roads he could go down in terms of his next fight. One of them would be a fight against Pulev, which would be a world title eliminator. Another one, a fight with Alexander Povetkin. Another road could be fighting for the WBA regular belt. And yet another road could be a world title challenge against Anthony Joshua. The Deontay Wilder situation seems unlikely at the moment, although Whyte and his promoter Eddie Hearn are trying as best they can to enforce a mandatory. Dillian Whyte hasn't been made mandatory yet for Deontay Wilder, so he might have to fight an eliminator for the WBC. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description below to this particular article from Sky Sports. I'm going to quote Dillian Whyte first of all. He says, everything is up in the air at the minute because there's so much options and there's lots of things going on. We're just waiting to see which is the best move and the best date for us to go with right now. There is a lot going on. The options are Deontay Wilder, a rematch with Anthony Joshua, possibly fighting Pulev for a final eliminator, and then I become mandatory challenger for Joshua, or maybe a voluntary fight. The WBC want me to probably fight a final eliminator against someone which we don't know yet. We're trying to get them to enforce the mandatory, and the WBA has come out a few days ago and said they want me to fight for their regular WBA world title. It's a very good fight, but they are talking about, now Whyte is talking about the possibility of fighting Pulev. He says it's a very good fight, but they are talking about possibly going to Bulgaria to fight. What for? The profile, the money, the revenue, everything is in England, so why would I go and fight him in Bulgaria? But it's a fight that I definitely want. It would secure me a place as mandatory challenger for the IBF, and it's a fight that I want. I believe I can beat Pulev all day long. At the O2, it's a big fight. He then goes on to talk about Povetkin. He says, Povetkin stands no chance of enforcing that fight at the minute, and he's talking about the Joshua fight. So I do think he should let me and him fight in a final eliminator. I went after him and called him out straight away after his devastating knockout of David Price. I spoke to his promoter and I spoke to him. You don't need to speak English to understand when somebody wants to fight you next. Me and you don't need to speak English to understand that. He can understand me. I was making the hand gestures and he said, yes, I'll fight you next. He's a good fighter, a former Olympic gold medalist, a former world champion. He's only lost to Vladimir Klitschko. So that's a very, very attractive fight, a very, very good fight. That fight will get the public's juices flowing and get everyone going crazy. Pulev is also a good fight as well. But if I had a chance, I would pick Povetkin. But if Pulev wants it, he can have it. So there you go. Those are the words of Dillian Whyte talking about his options. He says, or he implies there, that he's not very keen on fighting Pulev in Bulgaria. He doesn't see why he should have to, because all the money in heavyweight boxing at the moment is in the UK. And I have to agree with Dillian Whyte on that. The money is in the UK. Going to Bulgaria, why would he do that? I can understand why Derek Chisora went to Bulgaria to fight Pulev, because Pulev at the time was the European champion, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So I can understand that. And Derek Chisora was a guy with several losses on his record at the time. Derek Chisora wasn't a guy who was just coming off a successful KO win headlining a show at the O2, whereas Dillian Whyte is. So, you know, I can understand Dillian Whyte's stance on this, that he feels, yeah, cool, I'll fight Pulev, but it's got to be at the O2 in the UK. That's where all the money is. I ain't going to Bulgaria. Maybe it'll go to purse bids, I don't know, because if it's a final eliminator, you know, and there's no agreement in terms of the negotiation between the two camps, then it'll go to purse bids, and whoever bids the most money, it goes there. So whether that's Eddie Hearn or Sauerland, Pulev's promoters, will see. And whoever does win a purse bid, if it goes there, then it's fair game. If it goes to Bulgaria, fair enough. If they're willing to pay for the fight, if they're willing to pay more than Eddie Hearn, fair enough. We'll see. The other options, he seems very keen on fighting Alexander Povetkin. We all saw him call Povetkin out at the Anthony Joshua Joseph Parker show. So he's very keen on that fight. It's a good fight. It's a very interesting fight. I'll definitely like to see it. I would be picking Povetkin in the fight. I still think he's got enough to beat Dillian Whyte, although I'm certainly not counting Dillian Whyte out. He's an improving fighter, and his confidence is going to be sky high coming off the devastating knockout victory over Lucas Brown. So definitely not underestimating him, but I would be favoring Povetkin. And as far as Kubrat Pulev, I think I've mentioned in my previous video talking about this, my initial feeling was that Pulev will probably beat Whyte on points, but I do think that where this fight is held may make the difference. If the fight is in Bulgaria, I think I'll edge towards Kubrat Pulev winning on points. If the fight happens in the UK, I might actually favour Dillian Whyte. I think it's that close. Look, I think Dillian Whyte and Kubrat Pulev is a good fight. It's a very competitive fight. It's not a fight where I see being, you know, a whitewash for either guy. It's not a fight which I see being easy for either man. Do you understand? I see it as competitive, whoever wins. And I think home territory, home advantage could make the difference in this fight, because the officiating, okay, if Dillian Whyte is going forward and trying to attack Kubrat Pulev, and I think he would have to, because I don't think he's going to outbox Kubrat Pulev. If he's going forward and trying to attack Pulev, holding, clinching is going to be a big part of Pulev's game. And I don't think he'll be allowed to get away with so much clinching in the UK as he would be in Bulgaria. So, you know, that could affect how the fight is scored. And yeah, that's what I think I'm going to go with. If the fight takes place in the UK, I'll probably be picking Dillian Whyte to win. But if it takes place in Bulgaria, probably Pulev. We'll see. Yeah, the other option would be for Dillian Whyte to fight for the WBA regular belt. This is what he claims. The WBA have said they'd like him to fight for it. The current champion is Charr. That's a fight I could definitely see Dillian Whyte winning. But Charr has to fight Fraser Kendo, I believe, in the next couple months, whenever it is. Unfortunately. So we'll see who ends up emerging victorious from that situation. If it is Charr, then yeah, I'll pick Dillian Whyte over Charr. Definitely. Not that Charr ain't got a chance. Charr's a tough guy. He's got, you know, a fairly decent chin, I guess. He was knocked out cold by Breedis, the former cruiserweight champion. But he's got a fairly decent chin. He's got okay punching power. He knows his way around the boxing ring. He's competent, and he's got a lot of heart, Charr. I'll say that. He's definitely a gutsy guy. But I would be picking Dillian Whyte over him. So we'll see. Dillian Whyte's got options. The most unlikely options at the moment would probably be the Deontay Wilder fight next, because it seems as though he's going to have to fight somebody before Wilder. So there'll be some kind of eliminator against God knows who. And the Joshua fight, because Joshua's going to be tied up with mandatories and all kinds of stuff. Unifications, I don't know. Actually, maybe the Joshua fight's more realistic. I don't know, because Dillian Whyte seems to think that there's no way Povetkin's going to get made mandatory for Joshua anytime soon, or there's no way they're going to be able to enforce it anytime soon. We'll see, because Povetkin's team are saying that it is going to happen soon, and they're saying the WBA are going to enforce it very soon. So we'll see about that. If they do enforce it soon, then yeah, you can't see Dillian Whyte getting a shot at Joshua anytime in the near future. Because Joshua's he'll be trying to take care of Povetkin. He'll be looking at the Wilder fight, potentially making his US debut against Big Baby Miller, etc., etc. So, you know, we'll see. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below about Dillian Whyte's options. What do you think is the best option for him in terms of a fight he can most easily win, which will put him in the best position? Maybe some of you guys think the WBA regular belt is the way to go. Maybe you think he should just try continuously push for a straight shot at a world title, or maybe you think he should pursue Povetkin or Kubrat Pulev. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, people. It's happening. I'm out.